Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Good moment.
What a good way to describe it.
We don't know when this is going to be viewed by you, but it is going out live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday, the 22nd of November. And by 9 p.m., I mean 9 p.m. in the UK, other time zones are available.
But they're not as good, are they? Because we invented it. That's why we've got the best one. You can't claim that. You got to admit, if there's one thing this nation did with its Greenwich, it thought, how can people measure the time? And then we have Greenwich Mean Time, because in the meantime, what time is it? It's Greenwich.
Yeah, but you're mean about it. Like, it's ours. No one else can have it.
Because we invented it.
When it comes to country codes, USA number one.
You can have the phone, like that's still going to be a thing. Are you still using phones? Whereas time will always be a thing.
Yeah, but it's +1 for America.
I reckon you're right. We should change that to -1. All the rest should be like +2, +4, -1.
Yeah, you guys are you were 44th in the world getting phones. That's pretty pathetic.
It's not bad. Well, we invented them. We invented them as well. But it's not bad given that alphabetically we are not in the top 44 countries. So,
well, it depends on what do you go with, Great Britain or United Kingdom?
For the code, it's United Kingdom.
What about Northern Ireland?
They'll get if you want to dial Northern Ireland from really abroad, you dial +44.
Oh, that's sweet. That's nice.
Welcome. The Isle of Man, when they get phones, they will also have +44. It's amazing.
Just a little context for those of you tuning in. Steve and I have been doing the show now for about 45 years, and started in 1918 in the flu pandemic, and so it was comic solving problems. But the last few weeks we've been developing new show formats. So we've developed bringing back our review of boxes that are unboxed. We've got New Dad, Old Dad. As a concept, we've got explaining things overly too much, like explaining things that more than they need to be explained. Is in a way of saying the thing to a point where you feel like you've explained it to a point that is beyond what it needed to be explained as.
What do you mean by explain?
Describing.
Good.
To explain. And now we're going to do phone country codes and talk about them.
Yeah. Time zones and phone zones. It's the review that everyone's been waiting for.
I think so. I mean, it is important. As people get really wound up about the whole daylight savings thing, I could not give a shit.
Wouldn't it be better if we didn't do it, though? I was reading someone online said something I said when I was like 12. Why don't we just, instead of going like an hour earlier or later and messing around with that, just call it half an hour and split the difference. Just leave it at that. Because then your error is just half an hour at all times.
Mark it, time of death, 22th November, 2022. We've solved the problem on the show.
Yeah, 22th. The 22th of November. How can it be a long week already and we're pre-recording this? It's not even as long as the actual week by the time this goes out.
It's Thanksgiving week. It's a tricky one. Oh, I'll talk about that. Talk about Thanksgiving.
The 22th. So I'm just have a little drink of my drink.
There we go. And you're almost formal today, I'd like to say. That's nice. You've managed the jacket. Again, Steve is suffering of having a child because it's special now because he's had one, and discovering that it's hard.
I'm going back to saying it's easy again now that he's no longer ill. And I don't know why people moan. It's the easiest thing. Then we should just cut to a clip of me 2 weeks ago covered in whatever. It wasn't spit because it didn't dry. I was, man. But now I thought we'd go back. What I thought I'd do, split the difference again. I'm wearing the suit jacket, but not the shirt and tie, because I thought I'd wear a T-shirt under it, Star Wars. But wear a T-shirt under a jacket because I thought I'd be like a 1980s observational comedian.
Yeah.
And this is what we have to wear. So
it's a nice look. It's a nice look.
Thank you.
Are you worried about getting spit up on the jacket, though?
Oh, I'd not let the kid anywhere near any of these outfits. Oh, he's also not allowed in the shed because this is where the expensive stuff is. You can break the tech in there, but in here, no.
But I mean, the child is less than a year old. It shouldn't be able to get out to the shed on its own anyway.
You say that, but they're wily. This is what I don't like about them. They're wily. They cause a distraction. You knock stuff over, and while you're picking that up, they're gone. They're out of here.
Yep. Yep. And they're often covered with lotion, so they're slippery.
Yeah, straight out. But anyway, so yeah, so basically, you know how my week's gone by, how much I can get dressed for one of these. So it's not gone bad. You know, I've had worse weeks.
This is a medium week. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had worse, you've had better, and so on. Me, I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I gave up a long time ago.
The only reason I kept dressing up for these is because the amount of money I spent on this kit and this shed to then do a show that no one watches, I needed to make it at least look like there was an effort going in. Do you know what I mean? Got to make it worthwhile.
You shouldn't talk about how much money's in that shed because somebody's going to try and triangulate where you live.
Yeah. And
they should realize that when Steve says he spent money, it's not the same as when you or anyone else spends money.
I am northern.
Steve orders new equipment from a dodgy website in China where he pre-orders the technology that's not developed yet because by the time they ship it here, it's old technology.
Look, this auto cue works all right, isn't it? I can see pictures of us up there. I can read text from up there. It's an auto cue as if this were a proper TV thing. And yet, you're right, 30 quid from some Chinese website. It took months delivery to get here. Oh, yeah.
Amazon Prime. Pff, not paying for that.
I can wait. I'm not in that much of a rush to line the pockets of a billionaire. So, yeah, no, the tech is unbelievably off-brand. But it works. We get away with it, don't we?
Not even Huawei levels of Chinese bugging is in your technical equipment.
Yeah.
It's like beyond.
I've even got my smartwatch thing. I didn't want to get a proper smartwatch because I don't really need one, but I wanted a watch that had a timer on for being on stage, but also had metal on it. And it is dodgy software in there. You press the wrong button, and it's just symbols, to be fair. Oh well.
Good.
So, yeah.
I know you had the first story, but should I quickly just say Happy Thanksgiving to anyone watching? And it is the American holiday. It is our celebration of when we slaughtered the Native Americans and we ate their flesh. So it's a special day. Family gathers around as well. It's like Guy Fawkes. You guys burn, Guy Fawkes in effigy. Thanksgiving, we slaughter a Native American.
So in that effigy way, is the turkey representative of the indigenous peoples?
Yes.
I get it now.
Yeah. No, it is meant to be the day of thanks where family come together and eat. By midday, you eat early. It's like your Christmas meal here. It's our big meal. So we have turkey at Thanksgiving, and then at Christmas, we have ham, just to make sure to let Jewish people know what the point of Christmas is.
Of course. I wondered why.
We really emphasize that. But Muslim people too. Both.
Yeah.
But
for
Thanksgiving,
Kanye's Christmas, we know which one Kanye's really thumbing the nose to.
But for all Americans, including all the types, Thanksgiving is the turkey.
The types. You don't mean blood type when you say that either, do you?
And we have cranberry sauce. It's good. Pumpkin pie.
This is not one of the stories that I spotted for later, but it was in the paper that Kanye says he's running for president, and you just think, now, will we let you have that job where you actually could go DEFCON 5? Do you know what I mean? Like before, when you were just a rapper, it was bad, but if you could actually go DEFCON 5, I'm thinking, no.
That one of his songs?
Do you not remember his tweet? The thing that got him in trouble?
Oh, that. Okay, cool. I thought that was a musical reference I didn't understand.
No. But I don't want to say the whole thing because, again, we've been taking on YouTube so much. But
we'd be able to post it on Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, we should be streaming this on Twitter again. We should go back to do that.
We won't get cancelled there.
Yeah. Oh, we'll look into that for next week. But meanwhile, should we jump into some stories that we can try and solve the problems therein? I wanted to talk about the World Cup, which I know. In fact, I think we've still got the sports jingle. Let's see if it still plays.
You got it still?
Turns out it doesn't play. That says sports on it. No. That shows you how sporty our show is.
There was dust on the button that Steve went to press.
It's not.
He pushed it aside, and it didn't work.
I must have deleted that file. This computer's never had a problem with it. Never questioned it because it's never looked for it. So anyway, one of the updates is that the Welsh FA to address FIFA after fans' rainbow hats confiscated. Look, I think we know that the attitudes over there are terrible. I will also say, if you look at the picture down the bottom, it's not a good outfit. I mean, as much as I will support the cause, there are many things to comment about. That's not a good hat. That's not why they're confiscating it, though. I mean,
The hats on the right, are those official Welsh gear? Or are those pride hats on the right?
Well, you got your dragon flag, and then, I don't really... It looks a little pantomime-ish, but the whole thing is weird about what people wear when they go and watch football. Why do people dress up as the sports people? They all wear the top that you would wear for doing the sport. They don't do this in other sports. No one turns up to watch the luge just wearing like one thin body condom, like just in case. Call me up. I'm ready for it. No one goes to watch darts being chronically obese. Actually, but other than that, in general, it's a weird thing about football where they like to dress up in it. Also, while we're doing side notes before we get stuck into the main meat of the dish, the actual rainbow hat, I think, needs to no longer be called the rainbow hat because there are loads of colours in there that aren't in the rainbow. Because, well, here's the controversial. Are you ready for the controversial? It should be called like all the colours hat, because the rainbow doesn't have certain colours in it. And are you ready for me to blow your mind?
Yep.
The rainbow does not have purple in it.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it.
Even though that song, red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue, where's the purple in the rainbow, Eric?
The third one to the left.
No. I mean, Roy G. Biv, indigo, violet. Do you know what those colours are in the rainbow? They're blue.
Magic.
They're just blue. Because the spectrum of visible light goes from red at one end to blue at the other. Yeah. And you make purple by mixing red and blue, but you can't mix them. They're the opposite ends. You get green because you got the blues and yellows nearby. Yeah, if you can mentally fold space and time enough to get it in.
Yeah.
So there is.
It's a bow.
There's no purple. Is that not mind-blowing? If you learn one thing tonight, it's the fact that there is no purple in the rainbow.
All right. That's
and I think
one
that
thing
one's,
we've learned.
That's the one that's not offensive. The other colours on there, I ain't going to start picking away at them. But in general, there's no purple. Fact. Yeah. So the hats have been confiscated because the attitudes aren't particularly great over there. And this just leads us to realise what we knew back in whenever this was announced. Qatar is a terrible place to have the World Cup. They announced it on the same day. I don't know if you remember it, but FIFA announced that the 2022 one would be in Qatar on the same day that they said the 2018 would be in Russia. And look how well things have gone with Russia. So thank heavens we're bringing the Middle East into all this football lark. But there has been many things wrong with it, like the temperature was wrong. That's why we've got the World Cup on now instead of in the summer. They didn't have the infrastructure to do it, so they managed to build it using... They weren't on Trusted Trader. Put it that way. They got people in under dubious circumstances. They said, come and welcome and have a drink, apart from don't have a drink, because they banned drinking. Now, you can still get a drink in a corporate suite, apparently, in the stadiums, which is about £12 for a bottle of Budweiser. And as we mentioned before, I'm so northern, I find that more offensive than most of the rest of this. 12 quid. I'm teetotal, mate. Thanks. And then there are other rules. So I've got a list here of rules that you have to stick to. I think this is FIFA came up with some rules to tell people what to be careful of. So one of them is you have to wear clothes. You've got to keep your shirt on, which is good advice in general. And to be fair, my local Tesco has exactly the same rule in the summer, as I found out. But what you've got to do there is wear and you should wear a shirt if you're in Qatar anyway. Even now, the weather is so hot, you'd look like a bacon frazzle. But the official guidance says, for the avoidance of doubt, body tattoos and body paint do not constitute clothing. Thank you for pointing that out.
What do you think this is?
If that's a tattoo, why is it so loose?
Lost a lot of weight recently.
Yeah, that happens.
And I've got a pocket in my skin.
Oof. Although it would be nice, wouldn't it? Imagine if you could just get a tattoo of a suit and never have to worry. This would be one thing better than Zuckerberg, who says, like, oh, I only have one outfit, so I don't have to think about what to wear. Yeah, well, I'm one-upping you, mate. I just tattooed this on. This is me now. The UK Foreign Office advises visitors to Qatar to dress modestly, and it says in keeping with local culture, which I imagine they give the same advice when anyone from Qatar goes over to Newcastle to really try and achieve the opposite. Even on a cold day, make sure you're wearing inappropriately low levels of clothing. With the alcohol, we mentioned this, but if you do get caught, you could end up going into prison if you're drinking outside of where you should. There are items that you're not allowed to take into the stadium, which include bottles, cups, jars, cans, or any form of clothes container which could be thrown. Now, firstly, if it's 12 quid for a bottle, no one's throwing that. I don't like spilling beer at the best of time, but at those prices, no, I'm all right, mate. I think I'll keep that. And so if you don't want people to throw things, maybe let them have a flipping drink in it. They've also banned, are you ready for this? The vuvuzela. I agree with the Qatari regime. And I never thought there'd be a moment where I'd say that in this little feature. But, I mean, it's the one musical instrument that's synonymous with World Cups because that's where we first met it before. But, God, they're horrible. Is that offensive to say that the vuvuzela just sounds like most of the people watching the game are ships caught in fog? It's like you're watching a sci-fi thing and time freezes. Oh, now all of a sudden death's going to come and get me. Why make that noise? So they've banned that. I'm glad that one's sorted. So there's various things that you need to be careful of. And my theory is if you do want to watch it, instead of going to support a regime that is trying probably to sports wash its reputation, it's not working. Because every time anyone talks about the World Cup at the moment, we all kind of talk about how bad the human rights are over there. However, I think it's better just stay at home, go and watch it in a pub. Because that way you can have a drink. You can probably sit there with your shirt off. You can probably take a vuvuzela in if you want. And unless your local is really rough, it will have a better human rights record. Well, but yeah. So are you enjoying any of the footballs?
Well, I mean, I have been here long enough to come to terms with soccer as a part of my life. And I think that the reason why it will never take on in the United States, even though we have a team in the cup, is because as what happened with Wales is that we tied, and that's not the American way.
You tied against
Americans
Wales.
Have winners and losers.
Yeah,
and we don't do ties.
Such a
we
good
play.
team.
Baseball doesn't end until there's a winner. You can't. The games continue the next day if they go on for too long. So
such a good team.
You cannot have a tie.
Imagine how good you must be that you tied with Wales. And I say that as someone who's a 16th Welsh. That number varies depending on the joke.
I think the fact that we're even there is incredible, because why would anyone in America want to play a game that doesn't have a winner?
You're right. I'm sure we've ranted about this before. You should play football where you don't just use your feet.
Yep. Makes sense. But you don't have a tie.
Yep. No, you're right. I don't. I'm wearing a t-shirt. Whee! Keeping it fresh. So yeah, I'm not watching it. But I don't like football, so I don't watch any of the World Cups.
I generally do watch the World Cup because
Really?
I like nationalism, and I like my country destroying other countries. Again, American and British. But I mean, I was torn with who to support, Wales or America, but because Wales hasn't been in there for so long, and this is like special for them, and but America has never gone all the way with the World Cup either. So
Well, look, I mean, as much as I'm a big fan of your home nation, because of my 16th Welsh, in that particular match, I theoretically support Wales. I didn't watch it, but I want Wales to win because, you say, they've not been in it for 64 years. And as we saw in that story, I didn't realise that one of the colours on the rainbow hat is for being Welsh. I mean, I know there are various groups within that concept that need to be protected, but I didn't realise it was LGBTQAW+. But my people.
Those are your people. So, so I'll keep watching. I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it's always tricky as comedians with football because it means gigs get canceled. So, because apparently people like sport.
Yeah, but I don't watch it, so I don't know when it's happening. I turn up to gigs not realizing there's a game on. But then I also don't watch it when it's women's football, which makes me look terrible. So it's about time that this happens. I don't watch football and people think, oh, that's really good of you. So, you're boycotting because of that the host nation's terrible rights record. Yeah, let's pretend it's that.
That's like you have that beard right now in Movember.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm supporting whatever it is. Mowing. Yeah, we really need to be something about lawns.
Something like that.
But that's the prostate cancer one, isn't it?
It is. So
I raise the profile of prostate tests enough by going into graphic detail in my current stand-up set. So I think I'm helping out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
keeping a hand in.
Taking one for the team.
Yeah. So yeah, we're up to date football.
Cool. Well, a little American update. Might as well do that. We've got some exciting news on all the some of the court cases against Donald Trump and some of the investigations into what he's done. Not the civil lawsuit in New York, not the investigation in Georgia about whether he tried to influence the outcome of that election in 2020. This is about the insurrection and him stealing documents and taking them to Mar-a-Lago. And there's exciting news. It's everybody's favorite. We can see it here in the headline. There's a special counsel appointed. And that we just love those as Democrats in America, as liberals, because we saw how well Donald Trump was taken down by the special counsel led by Robert Mueller into the Russia investigation. That didn't really go anywhere because it was kind of covered up by Bill Barr, and then Robert Mueller refused to press charges. And so the Republicans all say that Trump was vindicated, even though he obstructed justice and it clearly accepted or was not exactly saying no.
Was that the one that was so redacted that when I printed it out, I had to buy new cartridges?
New toner. Yeah, this is special investigations always go, oh, fuck, he's going to get off again. But it's not Robert Mueller this time. The good thing is it's Jack Smith. And there's a photo of Jack if we scroll down a little bit. This is the man right there. Look at that. He's also an extra on Deep Space Nine. That outfit that he's wearing. He's been mocked and ridiculed for this because at the moment, because everybody in the pandemic had to get a side hustle. This for us was our side hustle, and we just don't have any other hustles that make it so that we stop doing this. His side hustle, because he's worked for the Justice Department for many, many years, is that he is in The Hague prosecuting war crimes.
Oh, I thought he looked like a dentist.
Yeah, so that's why he's wearing that robe. That is apparently the official colors of the International Tribunal thingy, Bobber is the technical name in the Belgium.
Like he's sponsored by Cadbury's.
I think it's because those colors are sponsored, are influenced by the rainbow.
All right.
And
that one's not in
and
it.
so, but right wingers have been making fun of that outfit as indicative of the fact that he can't be a good justice, and the fact that he's had to start the investigation from Europe because he was doing something no American would do. He was bicycling to work. Ugh. And apparently he had an accident and he broke his leg and had to have surgery. So he started the investigation into Donald Trump from his offices in Europe, which is, of course, going to make right-wing people say, oh, he's just a bunch of AU people, and delegitimize him. But we're hoping that the special counsel does a little more bite this time. This guy looks like he can bite. He looks like a serious mofo.
He looks like he's one of the background characters in Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
He looks like he definitely needs to go to the barber and get his beard trimmed. I mean, if he's going to be trying to take down a former president, the wispy, because I get that when my beard gets too long. It's just like a pubes on my face. You can't have the pube on the face thing.
There's nothing wrong with having pubes on your face. No, I disagree. There's nothing wrong with having pubes on your face.
Don't do it. Stop it. Just don't even say it.
We need a new caption that's obvious joke of the week. What?
In case you didn't understand where Steve was going there, he wasn't talking about his beard.
Was he talking about anything of mine? Yeah.
Other people's pubes on his face.
Prove me wrong.
So Trump is upset, and because he's the victim.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why he took all those papers. We've talked about this on the show before. This is the person who didn't read papers when he was in the job.
Yeah.
Took them all with him when he left. Did he think he,
souvenirs?
It's like those magazine articles, isn't it? That you're just on the coffee table thinking, I will read that at some stage.
Yeah.
I've still got a copy of Fabulous magazine from 3 years ago. That at some point I'll get through that interview with someone famous.
Yeah. Part of the problem is that he just felt bad because these were top secret documents and he got ketchup on them. And he didn't want to admit it.
Did he get confused by the phrase "for your eyes only"? And he thought, well,
this is mine now.
No one else needs this, then, do they?
Apparently, the Justice Department has determined that he kept them for sentimental reasons and to show off, like, this is my letter from Kim Jong-il, and so on, rather than the more, what a lot of people thought is that he was keeping them to sell to foreign powers. Because right after he left office, a lot of American spies were assassinated, genuinely. So there's just a little bit of that going on as well.
And he claimed that he had some evidence of the French president having an affair.
Yep.
And I think the evidence that we have that he had an affair is that he's a French president. I mean, just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah. That does it every time, definitely. Yeah. So there we go. So we should have some exciting news to report that Trump has gotten away with it once again.
But it'll be back on Twitter, so at least we'll be able to get some screenshots. Brilliant. All right, so before we run out of time, there is just one other thing to do. More on that story, I guess. We'll keep coming back to that week on week. But there is just going through some weird stuff that we found in the newspapers.
There we go. Please show me what you got.
Not from the Daily Star.
Off-brand. Wow, we're never going to get that sponsorship deal now.
I'm keeping it fresh. I'm keeping it mixed because as soon as people think they can predict you, that's when I turn. Right? So let's go to the Sky News website for this story. I didn't read the full details, but that guy looks tiny. Oh, man alive. This guy caught a goldfish. And so apparently it's a carp, but it's an orange carp. I mean, it does look like a goldfish, if we're being brutally honest about it, but it's an orange carp nicknamed the Carrot. And he managed to catch that. And it's like the biggest carp that someone's found. So that's apparently impressive. Also means that then he needs to go and visit this place, which is the world's biggest potato that you can stay in. Imagine rocking up with that fish to have a night in there. We know what you're going to do. But it turns out you actually can stay in the world's biggest potato. It's a place where you can...
That's got to be in America.
Probably. I mean, I don't know why. Why would you want to spend a night there? It looks like the kind of place where you'd want to put down roots.
So if you go back to the photo with him and the fish.
Yep.
So you're saying he caught that?
Yeah.
And that's a big fish. I mean, who would be able to throw that? He caught it.
It probably knocked him flat, didn't it?
See, I can do shitty puns as well.
Yeah. Hell yeah. There's got to be something about carrot. Why did we not think of a carrot-related one?
I think he's a carrot top. I think you'll find the carrot tops.
Yeah. So you put that in a salad, that's the kind of only way you make me go vegan.
Oh, dear.
Then there's another story, also not from the Daily Star, keeping it off-brand. Good science news, actually, in that scientists are looking at the ability to beam solar energy from space down to Earth. All of this panic about being energy secure. There was a thing in the news a little while ago about trying to use poo. Animal poo. Farmers have said that we could be making more biogas, like zoos and farms can just collect up all the poop. And it would be good because then you can make the gas and then we don't have to worry about buying it from Russia. Would that make us no longer dependent on Putin? Yes, if you mean the Russian leader. No, if you mean the tin where we keep all the poo. But this particular one is that they will collect by basically having a solar farm up in space. And then you would beam it back to Earth.
Yep.
And that's the question, right? I don't know if you read the whole thing. Eric, how would you presume you get the energy from a solar farm in space back down to Earth?
Just a really long extension cord.
That, of course. Who wouldn't presume it's that?
Yeah.
But it turns out what they would do is they would... Oh, I've ruined it. They would beam it down. They would beam it down using microwaves. So get ready for a lot of these flying around. There we go. Should have practiced, but I didn't.
I thought you were going to imply that they just send birds up there.
No, they're saying a microwave beam from the satellite to the Earth, which is great unless you walk through it. I don't know. It just seems like all of the power of the sun converted into microwave energy and then just zap that down to Earth.
It would I think you just have every street would have their own little microwave beam. And then you go down there, you take your unpopped popcorn, just stick it in, take it out.
I mean, you've seen what those things can do to anything within 2 minutes. They can make it hotter than the sun. So, risky business. And basically, whoever invents this is going to be the astrological version of a 12-year-old boy with a magnifying glass and ants. Just the power of the sun focused. So, yeah, when Putin gets a hold of that, it will be even a worse situation. And then finally, for our weird news stories, we turn to the Daily Star. Couldn't go without it. The final story is this. This 72-year-old pensioner gymnast who says that she's the fittest she's ever been. Her name is Kiko Guest, which it's just a username, isn't it? It feels like if you want to log into a router, that's the kind of thing you have to type in. But anyway, she's a content creator, and she said that she can still do the splits. And to be fair, most 72-year-olds can still do the splits. It's undoing the splits. That's when things get difficult. So until we see evidence of that, I'm not believing a word of it. Do you reckon Biden could still do the splits?
Well, he nearly did when he fell off his bike the other day. So he nearly. But yeah, I think the undoing of the splits. I mean, but it says that she's a content creator as well, 72-year-old. And so do you have a picture of her youthful looks? Or you don't have the whole article there?
No, that's as zoomed in as I fancy again. Because her OnlyFans was just too expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, sorry,
so
I say that.
To...
I've thought of another pun before you.
Go for it.
She's not on OnlyFans. She's actually on OnlyGrans, which is my website of choice.
So if you'd like to splurge and find out what she looks like, contribute to the Ko-fi.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll bring her. We'll have her as a guest on the show next week. Apparently, her schedule is flexible.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
What's happened to this show? We used to do sketches and insightful, topical. Nah, we never did.
Billy Bob. Billy Bob.
So I think we've
covered everything
there. Yeah.
So what's your prediction for the World Cup then? Let's because we know both so much about sport. What do you think who's going to be in the final?
Well, I've slightly cheated on this because I was reading there's a supercomputer that predicted that England will be knocked out in the quarterfinals. And that really feels like the waste of a supercomputer's runtime. Of course we'll get knocked out of the quarterfinals. Go and predict the weather or something. Yeah. Why is that wasting the energy on that? So I imagine we'll be knocked out. Although, because of the people who've already lost or something, the latest predictions are that on odds of winning have now halved. So it's more likely. But my prediction is that after the World Cup, people will still think a country that bans homosexuals is wrong. So big old waste of money there, Qatar.
Yep. But they got all those new stadiums.
Yep.
Slave people.
I don't want to know what they're doing in there, though, given that, Rome had lots of stadiums, but they weren't up to good things in them.
Not good things. So, we'll both be keeping a keen eye on the events of the World Cup over the next week.
Yep. Come back next week and see our opinions on the things we haven't watched but have read about.
Which is most of what we cover on the show.
Yeah, true. Well,
so there we go. Well, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like the page and the thing, and I just can't even do the patter. Just give us some money.
Anything to get us out of this death spiral.
Oh, God. I'll be in Potter's Arms on Thursday. If you live near Amersham, near High Wycombe, come see me there.
Which town was that again?
Amersham.
Sounds like a sweet drink from the 80s. Can I have a bottle of Amersham, please?
I was looking at the map here where it is, and it is in the middle of fuck all. It's just
Buckinghamshire.
Just one of these. It's just like, I think it's one of these towns that didn't exist before sat navs because no one would ever find it.
I think like Amersham is on the end of the Metropolitan line, so it's got a tube service. Is that what we've come to, where places that are served by the London Underground, and yet we can still go? Yeah, but it's not the main zones, is it?
I'm looking at it. There's no tubes. There's no tube here. They talk about the tube like this legendary thing that might exist in the city, but not where. I mean, maybe in the place of the Amersham, but where the gig is. If you put in that,
I'm googling.
I'm telling you, it's Winchmore Hill. So
I'm dragging the wrong thing. There you go. Look at this. What we got? What's down here? Oh,
yeah, but that's nowhere near where the gig is.
Oh,
let's see. What's the distance between whatever that?
Not only does the Metropolitan line goes even further to Chesham and through a place called Chesham Bois.
Amersham Underground Station. It's
Chesham Boys.
It's 5 miles from there.
Sounds like you need a gig near the tube station.
Yeah.
Look, they've got a Waitrose.
Yeah, not where the gig is. The gig is out in the Netherlands.
They've got the Boot and Slipper, a dog-friendly pub.
It's nowhere near.
No one of the dogs like it. Boots and Slippers in there.
So if you live in the middle of nowhere, I'll be there Thursday.
Yep, there we go. Zooming out. Yeah, you do have quite a drive, don't you? Right, and me, I've got no idea where I'm gigging this week. I would open my calendar on the screenshot, but I don't want everyone to see what else I'm up to.
What you're not up to. Oh, available.
Oh, I mean, Reigate
Not on national
Friday.
television. Not on national television.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, technically I am. Technically.
Ish.
And I
Should
am,
we can look at our diaries once the show's over. Should we finish?
But I was just going to give you a screenshot of delightful Reigate. Oh, they've got a train station, but they don't have a tube station.
Oh, you're down south. We should swap gigs.
I've heard what you've got to do at yours. I'm fine.
I will be speaking very slowly.
Yep. Got to fill the time. Just do
Some of my jokes are so good. I will do them twice.
Do them twice. That's how you fill the time. Do some of this stuff. Do the joke about the 72-year-old woman's flexible.
I've got this great bit about dating a woman who used to work helping pigs.
Yeah.
And the types of
Call
penises
sign
they
facility
have.
researcher. Yeah, you should definitely do that.
It's great. It's one of my favorite bits that I wrote and performed for many years.
Well, you certainly remembered it that way.
I remembered it as I had a friend once.
And thought it was true. Don't ever think anything I say on stage is true. Good God.
It's not true.
No. That was one of those classic things where I wrote a joke about Rebecca Lewis, who was on a TV show where she had to facilitate a pig giving a sample. But pretty soon that wasn't a topical joke anymore. Like, people are like, oh, that TV show was a year ago. So all of a sudden it's a story about someone I used to know who did this thing, which then no longer seems like it's out of date. That's how old that joke is. If you Google Rebecca Lewis on the farm, which I would do now, but again, I don't want to see what comes up in my search results when I'm searching for words like the farm in there.
The thing is, that joke was created before Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wrote that joke before Google.
Sometimes I've not done it for ages, but there's a bit of material about Michael Hutchins, which I wrote when I was 16. And it works as stand-up. So every so often I just trot it out and think like, wow, 16-year-old me would be happy knowing that this material got on stage.
That's nice.
Yeah, did it in Edinburgh. So, you know, if ever I travel back in time, got bad news about a lot of other stuff that happens to me, but good news about that joke.
Just focus on the good.
Yeah.
That one thing.
What else happens, future Steve? Nah, just think about that joke.
I'll be in a shed.
I've reached shed levels. That's how bad things are. Bloody hell. Well, I think we're definitely done and dusted. Thank you very much for sitting through this.
That's a catchphrase. You've lasted this long.
Yeah. Thank you for putting up with it.
Yep. And we'll be back next Tuesday, if not the Tuesday after that.
Or whichever comes first.
There we go. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment.